I'm not exactly sure why everyone's so surprised that 343 is not capable of making a good Halo game. I called it when Halo 4 came out. That game was not good at all. And see, the thing is, everyone likes to say that the multiplayer was trash and the campaign was all right, but that's kind of the problem because first off, the campaign was trash, and secondly, you accepting that it was all right, it's not good for the series because the thing that people don't understand is when you're making a sequel to something like as godly as Halo 3, it's very difficult because Halo 3 kind of uh wrapped everything up nicely. I think it still had maybe some unanswered questions, but for the most part, it was a very good end to a very good story, um, with the prophets and all the covenant and shit, and everything was accounted for, right? So it's kind of like the sequels with Star Wars, where with Episode 6, where everything was wrapped up, the Emperor was dead, and Vader dies, and there's balance to the Force. So like, how do you follow that up? And that's kind of the thing with Halo 4 that 343 had on their lap when they announced that there was going to be a sequel to Halo. It's kind of like, well, where are you going to go from here? And we got, what was it, the Prometheans. They're called the Prometheans. Like, dude, they were so boring to fight, and I felt like as the main villain, I forget what his name is, and I'm not gonna look any of this up, but it was so boring to fight him. And then he kind of had like force powers at the end, if I remember right. And then Cortana was just kind of like bitchy for some reason, and like everything about this game and the campaign just like did not make sense to me. Not only was it not fun, like everybody was just like a bullet sponge, even more so than usual. The Promethean guns just like sucked ass, and just going through each of the levels was just pretty freaking boring. And I played this in split screen, and I thought the campaign was so boring. I didn't even play the multiplayer, which I heard is pretty bad, but you know, that's its own thing. I just don't understand how people actually liked Halo 4 because it's a mediocre follow up to a franchise that probably did not need a sequel. Because like, you know what Bungie did? They did a prequel, and that's because it's a lot easier and you have a better success rate of doing a prequel rather than just doing a sequel, and that was with Reach, right? So they had a big responsibility to kind of, you know, wow us with Halo 4. And to be honest, you know, Halo 4 was just not wowy at all. Like, even if I gave into, you know, Halo 4 being all right, you shouldn't accept mediocrity, especially coming from Halo 3. So that right there, I was already like, you know, Halo's done already. Like, D343 can't handle this shit. Like, they're just whack. And then came out Halo 5, and I guess you guys can deal with that. I never played it because I kind of stuck to my word on that. I wasn't gonna play Halo again, and you know, you can see Actman's video on why that shit sucked ass. And then now we come with Infinite, and the thing was, when I heard that they were gonna split it, I already knew it was gonna be a shit show. Cause like, who splits like this is Halo. It's like Gears of War getting their like campaign split and shit, like campaign and multiplayer. And then like split screen was split, and then the final nail in the coffin for me was open world. And I'm just like, bro, you know, American developers cannot make open world entertaining because they just like making the world huge, and then they don't add any cool shit to it. Like, if you played something like Yakuza or even like Elden Ring was kind of repetitive, but it had a lot of stuff, and you were incentivized to kind of go look around for stuff. Whereas with like American games, it's just like check marks. Like, you just do it just to do it. Like, it's not fun. And I'm pretty sure, like, and I'm talking out of my ass here because I'm not gonna go look at it, but the Halo campaign open world was pretty much like that. I think my friend played it. I think he said he enjoyed it, but Halo doesn't need an open world. It was a stupid ass decision, and honestly, the only thing Infinite had going for it was the multiplayer. But see, they couldn't even get the multiplayer right for Infinite, because as soon as I found out that this game had desync issues, I stopped playing. Because why am I going to put myself through some bullshit like that they can't even fix in a timely manner, which I I want to say it probably isn't fixed. I wouldn't even be surprised if it wasn't fixed. Why would I trust them with that to actually deliver on their content, right? And you can see with like the roadmaps and the way they like to deflect the blame, like it's just a nail in the coffin. I understand. I don't understand why Ackman and so many of you guys held like so much hope for this when we already knew from Halo 4 that these guys aren't up to the par. Like they can't do it. They're just hacks, dude. They can't do it. They don't know what makes Halo Halo. They're just like look, even with the Master Chief Collection, look how bad they fucked it up at the start. How do you fuck up work that was done by somebody else before you, bro? Like it's so ridiculous, man. So I mean, I want to just kind of toss my hat in. I don't understand why people thought that this was gonna 343 was capable of doing this shit, and they really should have just been replaced the longest time ago. And honestly, I really don't think Halo needs any sequels. I don't really care about the story. For me, that shit ended at Halo 3. So if they want to do something, maybe they could do like a prequel or something. But if it's 343, you can bet your ass I ain't gonna play that shit.